I know what you're thinking, and no, I did not lose a bet. So how did I get myself in this situation? Let's start from the beginning. We're just learning that Air Force One has touched down. I believe that is the president. That is the president. He just came out.
We started getting reports around 4:45 p.m. yesterday of that loud boom and of the earth possibly shaking. Rain, wind coming soon, storm surge, a big concern in some areas. This is actually not their trailer, but somehow it ended up in this location following all the flooding they got. You can see just how high the water levels got here overnight. Right here's the water line. Thankfully, all of these residents have evacuated. I did just speak with one. When the trash is so far back from the curbs, debris trucks can't collect it.
My 2-year-old grandson has walked in the woods back there and we can't find him.
We're now heading into the 48-hour mark since Casey Hathaway vanished. It's been a dream 16 years in the making, and racers are finally ready to start their engines. Now, Matt's speaking inside of the auditorium right now, and he has no idea he's this week's ENC hero. So after he's done speaking, let's surprise him. Today, you can paint with kittens in Craven County. No, I'm not kidding you. The Yak 52 has been a part of air shows in the Cherry Point area for the past 6 years.
And there are currently about 200 of these planes in the country.
Pretty cool, huh? Oh my gosh, that was awesome.
Fire and ice. It's a combination not typically seen together.
I spoke to Pastor Chris Leak, who didn't want to go on camera. He's been with this church for 2.5 years. I'm at Shop Quick off NC 55. This is where 2 deputies performed a traffic stop in this parking lot. The boy gets quite the surprise when a great white shark jumps out of the water. No way, Jose. Clearly he's seen Moby Dick. Money, 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 money. Yeah, cue that song. It's flying all over the road. It's an act of vandalism that might also be a way to make money. I interviewed a little boy, and the little boy was like, all of a sudden I saw the zebra just flying through the air. I was like, that is definitely a sight to see.
You don't see that every day.
We're not going to spoil anything for anyone at home. I did read it, and like I said, it was a roller coaster of emotions. You had me in tears last night.
In North Carolina, every year, new law enforcement officers take this solemn oath.
On my honor, I will never betray my badge. I will never betray my badge.
My integrity, character, or the public trust.
I will always have the courage.
I will always have the courage
to hold myself and others. Accountable for our actions.
To be accountable, an obligation to accept responsibility for one's actions. It's just one of 45 words an officer must pledge before he or she walks the thin blue line.
If you've not been in those shoes, you don't know how powerful you are pushed to remain silent.
In her case, silent about sexual harassment, even sexual assault from another officer.
Text messages, pictures. He's sitting beside me in the patrol car.
For 12 years, she remained silent.
This was kept sort of in-house, and it was mortifying.
With you voicing your experience, was that a way to let people know, hey, it's not just Hollywood that's seeing this going on, it's your everyday life?
Absolutely, and I can look you in the face and say, it happened to me. And if you know my personality, you know that I'm just not a woman that is likely to put up with this stuff, but yet I can tell you, it did, and I put up with it.
Attorney Charles Cushman says he gets a handful of workplace sexual harassment cases each year.
We think it's certainly happening much more often than people are coming forward.
So if someone feels like they've been victimized in the workforce, how hard is it for them to actually prove that they have been sexually harassed?
I mean, it's difficult. A lot of times it comes down to a he said, she said. That's why we would recommend anyone to keep contemporaneous records, a journal of what's going on, make their complaints known to coworkers or supervisors right away.
I'm disappointed that I didn't speak up. I regret it. I hope that more people start to speak up.
Sometimes speaking up takes courage. No matter what career you're in, we're all accountable for our actions.
I will always have the courage.
I will always have the courage
to hold myself and others. Accountable for our actions.
Accountable for our actions.
We knew that he'd had criminal history and that he was familiar with firearms.
Newspapers flying hot off the press. It was a notorious 3-month crime spree followed nationwide.
The case originally started down at Cape Carteret. He had robbed a bank down there. Another case happened in the western part of the state, up in Henderson County.
Traveling from North Carolina to Florida and back, 21-year-old Michael Shornock evaded officers until his crimes caught up with him. SBI Special Agent David Wooten remembers the following events in Edneyville vividly.
We were just doing what we had been doing earlier that day, just clearing buildings, man-made structures. The very first time that I saw him was when the gate to the stall was open. He was pointing his gun in the direction of my partner that had opened the gate on the hinge side of the stall. And that's when the gun fired. Unintentionally, my hands just popped open uncontrollably. And that's when I realized that I had been hit. Then he left the barn running. He ran back down the hill through the woods. And that's when he was encountered by a deputy from Henderson County Sheriff's Department. Second time he shot is when he hit him and he went down. I was flown to Mission Memorial in Asheville on a chopper called Mama.
During the 3-month manhunt, Special Agent Wooten was one of 5 shot.
To the best of my recollection, it was 2 deputy sheriff, state highway patrolman, and myself and fellow agent.
On November 26, 1986, Shornock's reign of terror and crime comes to an end. 33 years later, now retired, Special Agent Wooten received much deserved recognition for his role in taking down the man known nationwide as Rambo. He recently received the Medal of Valor.
I was completely shocked to know that after all of this time that I was recognized for the sacrifice that I made.
I'm here at the Laurinburg-Maxton Airport where the United States Army parachute team, the Golden Knights, train on a day-to-day basis, and I'm going to jump with them today.
Once we hit altitude, there's no turning back. What comes up must come down. 13,200 feet. Now at this point, it feels like you're in a giant wind tunnel. The fall itself lasting about 45 seconds. Soon enough, my parachute was open and I was gliding back down to earth.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Lauren,
Yeah.
you just jumped from 2.5 miles up and came screaming down at 120 miles an hour. How was that Army experience for you?
That was awesome. I can't believe I did it, but I'm so glad that I did. That was amazing.
Jenny, how'd she do?
She did incredible. I could feel her just excitement the whole skydive.
Did you feel me shaking? Because I
heard you
shaking.
just like screaming for joy.
Okay.
We had so much fun out there. It was an honor having you out with the U.S. Army Golden Knights today. It was amazing.
Thank you so much, Jenny. I really appreciate
Of course.
it. And I didn't have any doubts in this woman right here. She was fantastic.
Well, we hope you have you out again someday, all right?
Absolutely. I would love it. Thank you.
And maybe next time I can work on being a little more photogenic while free falling through the air. Reporting back safely on the ground, Lauren Arnott for News Channel 12.